Earlier this year, I decided to try kettlebell carries for 90 days. I had always incorporated them into my kettlebell routine, but this was the first time I really tried to make it a core part of my training. So I did suitcase carries, rack carries, overhead carries, and I would experiment with doing, 200 to 500 steps total, where I would go more heavy and go more for like a strength workout. But a lot of times I found myself leaning more into the 1,000 steps to even 2,000 steps total, and really trying to build that muscular endurance. But I did kind of a mix of that. And after 3 months, I found insanely incredible benefits. And I honestly believe kettlebell carries are the most underrated exercise out there. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 major benefits that I noticed from my 90 days of doing kettlebell carries. The first benefit I noticed was really insane cardio benefits. Now, I'm actually pretty guilty of falling into that gym bro cliche of that when I'm in my strength training, lifting world, I'm not doing much cardio. And what I love about kettlebells, and specifically doing these kettlebell carries, is that actually my cardio endurance went through the roof. I was tracking my workouts through my Apple Watch, and I found that my heart rate during these kettlebell carry workouts was actually going higher than the runs I would do during my half marathon training when I did that a few years back. And that actually just like blew my mind because, I'd always associated lifting and cardio as 2 different things, but I saw that, my cardio benefits were increasing. And I could even tell, even without the heart rate stuff, like if I was trying to do, let's say, a workout where I did 1,500 steps total with a 35-pound or 16 kg suitcase carry, over the couple of weeks, I found myself, I need a little bit less rest. My heart rate seems a little bit more stable. And I was just, maybe my heart rate was more stable. So then I was able to even go for longer. I could go 1,700 steps total, when in the past I would do 1,500. And so I could just clearly see, even in the gym, that my cardio was just going through the roof. And what was really cool was that, it's going really high. I'm getting my cardio tested in my workouts. But then what was crazy was that during the fall season, after I did this 90-day challenge, I started doing a lot of like 6, 7, 8 mile hikes in the area that I live in. And I had not done traditional cardio for over a year. And I was totally fine on these hikes. I honestly finished these hikes feeling like I could go for another few miles. And that was really cool. And if anything, also with the hikes, my leg strength was obviously there because I've been lifting, and just the cardio needed to catch up. And I was totally fine. And that was really cool. So I just found that like now kettlebell carries have become genuinely my favorite form of cardio. If I ever want to get my cardio up, I'm going to go back to this challenge as opposed to something like running or swimming. Nothing wrong with those, but I never seem to really, really love traditional cardio myself. And if you're in that same boat, like you don't need to do your traditional steady state cardio, kettlebell carries gave me insane cardio benefits and really made me feel athletic, which was super cool. The second major benefit I noticed was a really great posterior chain muscle and strength. So what's the posterior chain? It's just a fancy way of saying all the muscles in the back of the body. So even though, cardio was one of my main benefits, I was still getting really great strength and muscle benefits. And so, I would see in the upper body, my upper back, especially my shoulders, and then my lower back, glutes and hamstrings, those specific muscles. I would just notice like I could see visible improvements in those muscles. And then I could just feel a lot of strength where I just felt really stable, just really upright, really strong. In a way that just felt good. That also transferred into my other parts of my life when I was, carrying groceries or playing with my nephew or like other things that just require strength. I just felt like the back of my body, that's really strong. And I even noticed, even outside of the posterior chain, just from the overhead carries, just the triceps got bigger and stronger. From the suitcase carries and rack carries, my biceps got bigger. So even some of the more, aesthetic muscles, those also got bigger. And, it also taught me that like, the arms, people love them for the aesthetics, but like the biceps are really important just for holding things in this position. And then the triceps are really important for holding things overhead. So I just noticed great strength and muscle benefits throughout. So that was another great benefit. The third benefit was just increased mobility and posture benefits, which was awesome. With every carry, as you probably see in all this, all the footage I'm showing here, I really need to make sure my posture is good when doing these workouts, when doing these carry workouts. And so, if my posture needs to be good when I have a load against me in many different positions, what I found then in my day-to-day was that my posture was just so much better. I was upright. My fiance kept noticing like, oh, wow, you're sitting really good, like a lot of really good posture. And I wasn't trying. I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. I never really tried to have good posture. It just happened because A, I was strengthening all the muscles that improve posture, but B, I was kind of teaching my body how to have good posture under a lot of heavy weight so that when I didn't have weight on me, it was like posture was no biggie. It was like second nature to me. And so that was really cool. And I just noticed I've tended from being really focused on bodybuilding, I developed some like more creaky shoulders, and I noticed my shoulders set back a little bit better. This was already happening from kettlebells, but I feel like doing this kettlebell carry challenge like really improved my shoulders sitting back, my hips being aligned, lower back feeling strong, just like a lot of things feeling really good. And that was just awesome because I think honestly the focus of this challenge was to improve my cardio, but to see also like, oh, everything's just feeling more aligned, feeling more stable. Sometimes I noticed when I just, for like sometimes I would do this carry workout and do some other strength moves, but sometimes I would do like a suitcase carry and then an overhead carry, and that was my workout. And by the end, I literally felt like my body was more like knit together, like everything just felt better to the point where like I didn't even really need to stretch that much. I was like, I actually already feel like the workout itself had a stretching component to it, that like the workout itself, I'm actually feeling less tight and actually feeling more like those yoga benefits, which that was really cool. So that was another incredible benefit. And then benefit number 4, which is the final benefit I'll talk about and is a little bit more abstract, is that the gym started to feel even more like a playground for me. And I know this is going to sound kind of weird because it's like, isn't that for kids? Like, what are you talking about? But I think, to me, I see the gym, or even whether it be a home gym or a gym you go to, is kind of like an adult playground. You have all these equipments, you have all these different things to use. You can use it whatever you want. You just go. It's kind of like an adult playground. You have all these fitness equipment. We take it super seriously. They're essentially just like toys for people to use for their fitness, And that's true for any exercise, but I think something about the carries, like I would take a stretch of the gym and just like walk back and forth. I would use the weights in different positions. I would sometimes try to like do more turns, shorten the distance and do more turns. Sometimes when I would come back, I would be like, okay, no one's here, so I'm gonna like kind of weave around the benches with my carries, kind of like an obstacle course. And it just made it a lot of fun. I wouldn't be super, super strict. I generally did have a sense of like, I want to progress in each of the carries that I picked over time, but I would let myself have a little bit more fun, have a little flow, just see what I'm feeling that day. And so I would kind of let, my body tell me essentially what I wanted to do. And that made the gym feel like a playground because literally I was using more of the gym and I was having so many variables from the time I walked, from the weight I used, the position I used, what distance I went, how I kind of did turns and obstacle course, what combination of carries. Like sometimes I would do only suitcase carries. Sometimes I would do like a suitcase carry, then a rack carry, then an overhead carry. And sometimes I would start with overhead carry and then end with like a rack carry. I would just like play around a lot, and it just made the gym feel like such a playground. And that almost gave me a sense of adventure in a way. It's hard to kind of find adventure in, adult modern life, when things get really busy and you have a lot of responsibilities. And so that gave me a sense of adventure, which was really cool. And that might be kind of abstract, but I think for me, that sense of adventure, I really found that with kettlebell carries, which it sounds kind of silly, but I think you sometimes can find adventure in places that seem really banal and like very simple. But for me, ever since doing kettlebell carries, now even when I do my other workouts, I'm more open to like experimenting and trying new things and just seeing the gym as a playground, which I think is a really great mindset to have. After those 90 days, I'm so happy with these benefits. I'm gonna keep doing carries. I want to do other workouts and other like 30-day, 60-day, 90-day challenges with different exercises. And so I'm just really excited to keep carries in my workout while experimenting with other ones. So let me know your thoughts on kettlebell carries, on this challenge. Have you tried them? What has been your experience? If you haven't, does this make you interested in trying them? I do feel like this exercise is really underrated. And if you want to get some of these like functional fitness benefits that I talk about in this video and all my videos, you can check out my workout program below. And with that, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see another video, you can click one of these 4 here. Thank you so much.